so many people attended this year that it's, I think, one of the most successful SLAs in Europe.
It's been really a treat to come to Hamburg again. I've been coming here for years. A lot of us have been looking forward to an actual event here because there's so many companies in this space that can just get in a car or ride a bike to Hamburg.
We've covered a lot of SLAS shows, but this one in Hamburg, biggest product drop yet. And automations never looked so good.
Welcome, Helical Brew listeners and viewers. Elizabeth and I coming to you from SLAS Europe 2025 in Hamburg, and the show's just wrapped up.
Yeah.
One more show.
2 days, very interesting days.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's anything stand out about just the experience in Hamburg as a city?
Well, the city is beautiful. That's the first thing. And then so many people attended this year that it's, I think, one of the most successful SLAs in Europe that they've had.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's been really a treat to come to Hamburg again. I've been coming here for years. A lot of us have been looking forward to an actual event here because there's so many companies in this space that can just get in a car or ride a bike to Hamburg. And a lot of vendors, of course, right? As you'd expect, a lot of vendors came to the event.
A larger show floor as well.
Larger show floor. They had plenty of room, hotels nearby. I think logistically it was one of the easier to deal with.
Yeah. Exactly.
Shows with a train station directly across from the convention center. And this is our wrap-up show for SLAS Europe 2025. I have to say I was really impressed with some of the new products that were released on the show floor. I've never seen this many new product releases. Maybe I haven't been paying attention as well, but I haven't seen this many product releases on an SLAS Europe show floor as I have here. I think standouts for me were the CutePicks Mini.
Yeah.
It's not the name. I can't remember the exact name. But it's it's a CutePicks that I could probably lift up. The other one had no chance. The big one.
It's a less footprint, but really.
Right. And of course the Lumina from Liquametrics also on display, which they were an award winner in the past at SLAS events, but this was their first home country presentation of that instrument. And then next to the Certus Flex. The new Certus Flex, you get closed loop, so you can volume detection all in one with a dispenser attached, so you can verify the high precision of that Certus Flex directly.
Yeah.
So for users that want to double check or have to double check, they can do that. That's interesting. And of course that was on a Lab Services Heron platform.
Right.
It's just a benchtop instrument, had software in between, so fully automated with a precise flex robot there. So that was cool to see that. Yeah, I think, that deployable automation was a big theme during the show, just benchtop capability like that. And
the Tiken.
the Veya, that's a very fancy screen on the front of that device. It was, I think, the largest screen I've ever seen on the front of a pipetting device. It looked like a lot of I didn't really get into it. I should have gone over there and gotten a demo to see how it worked, but it looks like a lot of
You have a lot of data showed.
real-time information from it. And I think, like a lot of the other liquid handling companies, I'm not saying they're all doing it the same, but they have a light ring around the top that's communicating a bunch of information.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty new. I think they released it at the SLAS San Diego. And then this is the second show they're showing the actual device. But it comes in 2 sizes for the footprint. So it was going to be a nice product as well.
Yeah. I'm excited to see more of that out there. And yeah, any particular devices stand out for you?
Not that I can think about right now, but like you said, like a lot of small setups with the Brooks robot and plate hotels storage. So that's kind of like a highlight that I saw in a lot of booths this time.
Yeah. Yeah, the benchtop factor is here to stay, I think, the ability to take high-end single instruments. And a lot of that has to do with the instrument automation friendliness, the robot friendliness.
Right.
That's my personal opinion, but I think it's a lot easier to just bolt a robot onto an instrument in hotels when you don't have to do a lot of extra work to make that instrument work. I remember back 20 years ago, you sometimes had to redo the nests or whatever to make it robot friendly. And now that bar has been lowered significantly. So without further ado, we have SLAS, another one in the can, and I think a lot of the companies are going to see success from this.
Yeah, definitely. And also, like molecular devices, they are bundling the robot with the hotel and the reader. So that's an interesting approach as well for their automation platforms.
Yeah, for sure. The reader bundle, they've got now more options. They actually had quite a bit going on in their booth.
Yeah.
There's a new IXM. Again, not new this show, but it's relatively new, and that really stood out to me because you no longer have to kind of sneak the plate into the top. It just has an openness. You can do portrait, landscape, direct access. It's in the corner, and you're not tied to a particular set of fingers that might interfere with other processes.
Yeah.
You can use flat fingers on a robot, so it's the same height as the gripper. Previously, you had to drop the fingers down significantly to be able to access that, and that always creates more potential for having to do a handoff or a regrip,
right,
or something like that. Oh, another one that stood out to me. Sorry, go ahead.
No, the optimization part is key.
Yeah, that's the vendors are listening, right? They're listening to the users, and they're listening not only to the users but the partners building automation.
Yeah.
Another one that stood out to me was the new Helical side entry, fully automated. Again, you can use flat fingers. To be able to use flat fingers with the Helical centrifuge is huge. Because you always had to use the drop down where you had two big finger elements that reach into the bucket.
That always became a little bit of a trouble for the automation.
And more expensive. You often had to dedicate the robot to that particular.
Yes, we actually designed once the gripper fingers that could handle both, like front and the down.
Yeah. Yeah,
load.
that's right. That's right. So I think that's key, and it's cool. So you can drop the temperature below. It's no longer just like there's some options where you can maintain temperature for other centrifuges. This one you can actually go below, which is something, again, that larger big box centrifuge was dedicated to. I had a really long discussion with Helical, and I was really impressed with.
They also developed it on the same API, so if you have the driver for the other centrifuges, you technically can control this one as well. So that's really cool for integrators.
That is nice. It's something I feel like certain instrument categories have done really well. Some of the readers, but also incubators have been generally pretty good about. It doesn't matter how many features are on one incubator versus the other. You still get the same API. So like you get backwards compatibility. You obviously have to put in code to deal with new features that didn't exist before, but your pathway to getting to the switches and parameters is the same. And Helical has done a good job.
Yeah. Another one is Yokogawa. They had a very large booth this time,
Right.
Very impressive, and they were showing their new CQ3000. Seems to be an upgrade to the CQ1 and also has features from the larger reader that they have, the imager. So that was a very interesting.
Extremely impressed with what Yokogawa's doing. I believe they had the largest and most sophisticated booth setup of any exhibit.
Yes, at this time, yeah.
I don't know. When you do enough of these events, you pay attention to the rigging, and if somebody's having to do a sign that's hanging from the ceiling, that costs a lot of money anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
I'm sure even a lot here in Hamburg, but they put that in. It looks really nice. They had quite a large booth, a good presentation. Lots of robots on the floor. Most robots, period. I'm not just counting, the Brooks robots, but also we had some UR, ABB, a variety of robots on the floor.
Some mobile robots as well.
Yeah, a couple mobile robots. U Microlab was out there from URG.
Yeah.
I didn't see another one besides that, but another one. I think it was.
Yeah. I think they had I can't remember. Yeah, I saw.
And so what do you think of Hamburg?
Oh, well, we haven't had a lot of time to walk around, but it's beautiful.
A little bit,
From what we thought. I mean, it's the first time I'm here, so I'm very impressed. I love it.
In the downtown area, we've pretty much gotten a little snapshot of that, and we happen to pick an area where a lot of other exhibitors are, so that's fun. We rent some people to be able to connect and hang out. I know a lot of people. Would you say the luggage check on this one was the largest you'd ever seen on the last day of a show? I think that had to do with the train station because a lot of locals could just, when the show was over, they could hop on the train and head out of town, which was impressive. And actually, there's several companies here in Hamburg that have been participating in SLAS for years, including Revity.
Yeah.
Evotech. Here's Hamburg base and Eppendorf.
Yes.
Now,
They had tours at the first day.
yeah, I wish I had the schedule to work with that. That would have been cool. I did that the first year of SLAS Europe. So the first year of SLAS Europe was in Belgium,
Right.
and they cleverly arranged a tour, and it was delayed significantly because of traffic. It's one thing they didn't count on. Totally get it. It was the first year. We all powered through it, but we went to the Pivot Park screening center in the Netherlands, the south of the Netherlands, which is a contract for hire, high throughput screening system that famously have a very large Stoibli high res system that they operate, and it's quite an impressive facility. So it was cool to see that. I'd only seen pictures before, but it was actually pretty cool to see that in person for the first time. And,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of nice events. Moldev also had the Discovery Cruise.
Yeah, one of their private events. Yeah, Moldev was the main sponsor for this show, right?
Yeah.
So they did a whole pretty much all day, if I remember.
It was an all-day event.
They started. I think they got breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah.
Maybe breakfast and lunch.
I think it was.
Yeah, maybe
it
breakfast
was,
and lunch.
a lot of presentations, discussions, a panel that they had as well. So
And you got to cruise around on a boat the whole time.
yeah,
The
in
Hamburg Harbor, which I've never done myself. I visited here and saw the Hafenfest, which is the Harbor Fest, but I have not done anything, to ride a boat myself, which would have been cool. Yeah, so I think it was a good time overall. We did the passport to prizes this year again.
a lot of people
A little bit smaller.
participated.
I definitely shout out to the SLAS. I thank you very much for the new
The pick of the week.
the new badge. I thought that was fun. Yeah, my pick of the week is my new SLAS badge. So thank you so much to Amy and the team over there for that. I feel
Such a great crew.
really, it's mark of pride for me. Especially having listened to, for those who've been in the industry for a while, you'll remember Barry Sachs, who was the previous voice of SLAS for sure.
Yeah.
Unofficial. So I'll take the officialness of that.
Yes. They made it official.
Also, my favorite, this is from Ouren in Spain. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Anyway, they had the coolest button as my second pick of the week. Don't hate automation. And they very cleverly integrated their, so you can see that, Elizabeth. They very cleverly integrated their little E in the phrase. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Don't hate automate.
Okay, automate.
I thought that was clever as a button because it doesn't even have their name on the button,
Right.
But they cleverly used just the little E from their
Yeah, from their logo.
beginning of their logo. It's kind of got a universal appeal. It's not really advertising a brand unless you're in the know. I like stuff like that. Yeah. So I think you're off to Belgium next,
Yes.
right?
That's my next.
Jealous land of Belgian beer.
Yeah.
It would be cool. It's quite a little bit stronger. Yeah.
Yes, it is definitely. So.
Yeah, they definitely versus the lagers, the golden. This is your classic. Builds.
Yes.
Yeah. Anything else going on?
Well, then looking forward to the next trip in Vancouver.
That's right. That's right.
It's another meeting that we have nice things coming up there too.
We're going to have a crew up in at Elrig, Vancouver, for a meetup there. That's going to be, how many companies?
June 3rd.
June 3rd, yeah.
22 companies so far. I think we have,
Okay.
22 companies.
That's impressive. And all with tabletops.
Yes. So we can do another podcast from there. once we are done.
Right. Podcast from Canada.
From that, yes.
And so this is going into our library that we're doing for SLAS, and not sure exactly how we're going to release the episodes on this one, but we just wanted to do an update and have a couple of short episodes to be able to present. We've done one in the Lab Services booth with Martin Venter. That'll come out before this one. If you haven't seen that, go back to that in our episodes list. And I know Sarah loves it when I talk about specific things in a podcast, which is going to be broadcast in the future. But I think I got this one right because this will be in the future. and
Yeah.
that will be in the past by the time you see this. So
Well, hopefully before the El Rig in Canada.
I'm trying to play with time a little bit, at least. Have some fun with it. Well, I think that pretty much wraps it up. We can head back, and I'm going to go cruise around Europe a little bit more before heading back. And next stop,
Yeah.
Vancouver.
Awesome.
We'll see you next time. So for more episodes of Helical Brew, you can always visit our YouTube page, youtube.com/Helical Brew, or just look us up on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We are listed under there. You're going to get video and audio on Spotify, but it's audio only on iTunes. And don't forget the TikTok account. No full episodes there. Fortunately, TikTok is really a 30 seconds or less kind of place. Although I guess there's some longer ones. But
I am not sure.
plenty of places to see it. I think YouTube's going to be the main one. HelicalBrew.com. Till next time, we'll see you.
Thank you for joining us on the Helical Brew. We're glad to have you with us. For more episodes, please visit our website at helicalbrew.com. That's helicalbrew.com.